Are we good?
I'm probably gonna make you laugh just for fun, but go ahead.
Bring it. I like.
Right, go ahead.
I like laughing.
I'm rolling.
You're already making me laugh.
I'm rolling too.
You gotta start as us laughing.
Straus Project rolls on. We are at the Arcada Theater in St. Charles with Queensrÿche. It's Todd La Torre. Hey, Todd.
What's up?
Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for coming.
You've got a lot of projects going on besides Queensrÿche. You just released a single with Metal Church, redoing a new, older song.
Yeah, we did Fake Healer, which was awesome. It was the owner of Rat Pack Records had this idea. He knows that I'm a huge Metal Church fan. And I was just so thrilled that Mike Howe got back in the band. And so at some point he said, hey, what if you were able to do a duet or something, you know, with the band? And I was like, awesome. And so I said, well, the Blessing in Disguise record is, you know, very dear to me. And so we were able to pick that song. And we had a great time, you know, doing the recordings and shooting the video for it. So that was a lot of fun. I'm eternally grateful. Thanks to everyone in Metal Church for that. But, you know, it was fun. It came out cool. And, you know, I was very thankful.
It was a lot of fun watching the video. And I feel like the two of your voices blend so well together. You know, Mike's got that really distinctive style. How would you describe your style?
Do I have a style?
I mean,
you know, they are totally different animals. You know, he's got just such a unique, distinct sound, and I wondered, you know, how is that going to sound together? And then once I did, you know, the recording and I sent it over to him, I was like, hey, what do you think? And they're like, this is great. You know, they're contrasting, but I guess they're complementary as well. So. And you know, Mike was so cool. He was like, I said, well, what do you want me to sing and what do you want to sing? He goes, you know, just do whatever you want to sing. And I went, well, it's your song. He goes, it's our song now. And I was like, wow. So I said, you know, I don't want to be, you know, the focal point. Obviously, I'm just being added to the song. So when I first tracked it, it's pretty much the way that it came out. It was, okay, he'll sing, then I'll sing this part, and then, you know, we'll kind of flip back and forth. And so he was very generous, and the guys were generous to give me, you know, that kind of flexibility and freedom. And it was a lot of fun, you know. It was really cool.
Yeah, it sounds great. Speaking of sounding great, you kind of played us some snippets of some stuff that maybe you were working on. Did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So, you know, I've had solo material for many, many years. And when I joined Queensrÿche, it was like, okay, 100% of your focus is on that, and rightfully so. But it was always hard to try to find the time. Okay, we're writing an album. You can't work on your stuff, you know, because we're doing that. Then it's, well, we're touring and support. So trying to find the timing to, well, if I had it done, when could I release it where it didn't take away from the promotion and everything we're really trying to do with Queensrÿche, which is always my #1 priority. That being said, 5 years almost into the band now and going on 3 records, it's time for me to start recording these ideas and eventually get them out there for a solo effort. So I've got a handful of songs, and more are being written. My friend Craig Blackwell is the co-songwriter, and he'll be playing on the album. Great guitar player, producer, engineer. So he's, you know, it's going to be more, you know, of a power groove metal with thrash elements. It'll allow me to do, you know, more of the gutturals that I want to do, some of the really high, gritty, kind of more just metal, you know. It's going to be a metal record. You know, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I want it to be melodic, but definitely hard hitting and very riff oriented. So that's something that I'm still working on, you know, on the little pockets of time that I have, along with, as you know, writing the next Queensrÿche album with the guys.
I saw you do a chat with the guys from the Metal Voice this weekend, by the way. Nice long chat. You definitely can talk, by the way. Just
I have the gift of gab.
Yeah.
You know?
And you were talking a little bit about writing and the way that you go about doing it. I'm always curious to talk to people who are creative like yourself about the way you go about the process of writing. Is it something that you think of, okay, I'm singing this in this voice, or how do you edit in your head what you're writing, I guess is my question.
I mean, that really depends. When I'm doing stuff with Queensrÿche, there's a certain sound and style that naturally, you know, when I think of how I'm going to approach something vocally, it's within a certain realm that I know. So I'm not going to do anything brutal on a Queensrÿche album. You know, it just wouldn't be proper. It wouldn't be right. And I'm fine with that. But on my own stuff, a lot of times the songwriting starts with a drum groove, a pattern, and then the guitars will kind of go in that style. And then, you know, because I like to sing in different styles, sometimes that I battle with that. Like, wow, it would sound really cool if I did it in this Queensrÿche way, because that's a very big part of how I sing. But then there's this whole other side to me that's different from that, that I think, you know, would be really aggressive and just more of an angry attitude, or I guess aggressive is the best way I could say it. And so then and I'll experiment with a few different things, and whatever feels like it's naturally working best for that song, I'll usually stick with that. But, you know, on my own stuff, I'll probably have a combination of, you know, the very chest, throaty, vocal delivery, and then you'll have, you know, the real scratchy vocal in there, and then some of the very high, really high, gritty stuff. It'll probably be less clean vocals on it, and then some of the guttural things as well. And I'd like to try to incorporate some black metal elements, more from the you know, symphonic aspect, just like a darker ambient coloration of sound with the keyboards. You know, so I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out, because some stuff just sounds really great raw, you know, without that. But then it takes a new shape when you start adding some really neat synth keyboard stuff in the backgrounds.
You talk a lot about writing what you feel, and feeling when you're writing. Do you know, okay, well, I'm going to sit down and write for Queensrÿche today, or I'm going to, when you sit down to do something, do you have an end goal in mind, or do you just kind of have a blank canvas in front of you to create, and kind of whatever happens, you go, oh, well, that would be good for my solo stuff? That's
what I do. So there's, in the pool of songs that we have for the new record that we're working on for Queensrÿche, there was a song that I pitched to the guys, and I played everything on it. The drums, I laid the drums down first, and then I tracked all the guitars and did some rough vocal stuff. And I showed it to them, and I thought, you know, they're probably not gonna, I don't know that they're gonna like it for Queensrÿche. And actually, they really liked it. It needed to be bumped up in the beats per minute, so we just put it in Elastic Audio, changed it to around 200 beats per minute. And everyone was like, you know, I think, yeah, this is cool. Like, we may do a few tweaks, but overall, all the music they were really cool with. And so that was, you know, a little surprising. I tried to use some chords, as I said in that other interview, you know, some chords that Michael or Parker may use, instead of just straight power chords. But, you know, it's, when I start working on something, I don't have a predetermined thing in my head. I just give it a listen, and sometimes I don't have any ideas, and I just say, okay, I'm not gelling with this today. You know, I have to be in the certain headspace, so I'll just go through the songs that need working on, and I'll say, okay, I'm in that kind of a mood, and whatever the music starts to sound like and make me feel is how I'll initially start working on something like that.
So you guys are here playing shows occasionally rather than a really kind of a stringent tour than you've been on the last couple of years, giving you a chance to do a little bit more writing. Hopefully you guys will get back into the studio soon. I have some questions, true, false, on, the album, things that we've heard. I heard you guys have 15 songs written.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're not all 100% completed, but there might even be, if you sprinkle in some other ideas that aren't fully arranged songs, but stuff that could be built on, then there's more than that. So yeah, there's a nice selection of music to work on, and we're still working on it. So I'm curious to see how that's going to shape up. And
your initial analysis of it is kind of it's rage for ordery a little bit. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
There's some stuff on there that feels like it. There's one in particular that sticks out that Eddie started writing, and it does sound rage for order-ish. It's got odd time signatures, and it just, I don't know, it kind of felt like it belonged in that, in that era perhaps. But it still needs vocals done on it and everything. But I've introduced some of my own stuff that has just been shelved that's more progressive and some pretty interesting time signatures. And then I have guitar riffs in my head that go with this stuff, so I've been showing Michael, and then just to kind of get the idea, and then they can tweak it how they want. But there's a lot. I think there's probably some more up-tempo songs so far that this record I think will have than Condition Human. But it's still kind of eclectic. I mean, it's a little early because I can't say, okay, here's the songs that are going on the record for sure, and then put a playlist together and listen to it and get a vibe. That hasn't happened yet. So
I heard you say that was a little more intentional, speeding up the tempo on some of the record, the new record, that maybe in retrospect that the last record was a little slower in tempo than maybe what you had thought initially going in.
I would agree. I mean, when we were trying to do the track listing on that record, and it was like, okay, that's mid-tempo. That's kind of mid-tempo. Okay, here's a fast one. Here's a slow one. This is a slow one. This is a little bit faster. And so we had fewer fast songs or more up-tempo songs than I think we realized, because we weren't going in and go, let's write a fast song. It was just like Michael had an idea or whatever. They had an idea, and that's just where it went. Some songs we did experiment with the beats per minute. Sometimes they just, they feel a little draggy once you start listening to it and you say, okay, it's a great song, but the only difference is it feels like it's just dragging. And so it's sometimes a simple fix by just increasing the beats per minute. So on this effort, I think that we've all kind of said, I think we need some more up-tempo songs on this record than the last one. So I'm hoping that when it's all said and done, that it plays that way.
And then you guys take all your best stuff and you take that to Zeus, who then takes it. And I actually heard you say, he can be critical at times. He has no problem telling you when something isn't good.
Yeah.
How do you receive that when you've been working on something for so long and then somebody goes, this is garbage?
It's fine. I mean, I'm a lot less married to ideas than in the past. So, you're not going to get everything you want. And that's just the way it is. That's why I do a solo record. If I want everything my way, then I do my own thing. But when it comes to working with a band, you have to be willing to accept criticism, and you're gonna lose some ideas, and you're gonna get some ideas, and so it's fine. And Zeus and I are really good friends. We talk on the phone all the time about life, not even music. Sometimes, a lot of the times, we just talk about life, and so we can throw F-bombs at each other like you would do with your buddies, and just joke around, and there's no hard feelings whatsoever. So he could tell me, something just totally sucks that I'm doing, and it's fine. We end up laughing about it.
I think that I think that's a product from finding the people to work with that you work best with.
Yes.
You're all working towards that common goal, so
Yeah.
you can take that kind of criticism from somebody who you know has your best interest in mind like that.
He has the best interest of the band, and you know, and he has great ideas too. So what we've done is, as a song has kind of been shaping up a little bit, you know, we'll just send it to him and go, what do you think of this? Because if he's like, I'm not feeling this at all, like scrap it or keep this riff and start over, we'll be like, okay. That way, you know, you don't want to waste time. So I'll be like, here's the general vibe. Yeah, it needs another verse and a chorus. But if you get an intro and a verse and a chorus idea and you go, what do you think of that so far? It'd be like, that's great. That's a little too major and happy. I think we could find a different chord progression. What about this? And so, you know, even though he's producing the album with us and engineering it, it's great to just give him ideas as we're going before we meet up, you know, for real to do the recordings. He's very much a part of the early process, and it helps, you know, because you say, okay, I don't want to spend all this time, and then he's just gonna be like, you know, I'm not feeling this at all. I'd rather get some direction, and everyone in the band's very open-minded towards that, so it's good actually.
What's on tap for Queensrÿche for the rest of 2017?
So for this year, we're not really touring, with the exception of a couple weeks in Europe. We are doing one-offs, and you know, we toured last year very heavily. We did the U.S. 3 times. We did Europe twice. We didn't tour Japan, but we did the one Loud Park in Tokyo, and then we did dates throughout Australia. So it's a lot of shows. It's a lot of playing. I think it would do the band some good to, you know, pull back a little bit, let us focus on the material of the new record, and we'll be hitting it hard in 2018. You know, we still have things on the books throughout the year, but certainly not any extensive touring. You know, maybe some weekend package things, you know, 2 days in a row or something. But otherwise, just some one-offs.
And then that leaves you time to get into the studio, right? September is what you're aiming for?
September, yeah. You know, we were wanting to get in there in March, but again, being on the road so much and then looking at what we have and you're going, okay, we have to dedicate, you know, Zeus's time to us exclusively for so many weeks. We need to utilize that time in the best way possible, which is recording. Obviously, we have time for pre-production where we listen to each song and we go through it and we say, okay, this one, it's not going to make it. This one, definitely. And you get the good pile and you say, okay, now we're going to refine each one. And so it's a very lengthy process, but September is, you know, we just had another meeting with management, and we are thus far set to meet with Zeus in September to start pre-production and get in the studio and start recording.
Well, we're really looking forward to it. This will be your 3rd album with
Yeah.
You feel comfortable yet?
Yeah, I feel great. You know, since I got into the band, everyone in the band has been just very gracious and let me be who I am. And you know, we're all just really good friends and very close. And so, you know, I think especially after the last record, people know what I sound like. You know, I was able to go in some areas on the last record that the songs didn't quite call for on the 2013 release, you know, but I still love that record. And, you know, hopefully this next one will be everything that we want it to be, and that the supporters of the band dig it, you know, that we hope they really like it. But again, you just never know. And that's kind of scary, because you say, oh, they've been off for 3 years, you know, this better be good.
Right.
You know, since the last release or something like that. So there's that little bit of, I don't say it's anxiety, but concern. On the other hand, we're just going to keep writing music and recording. So this isn't going to be, you know, the 3rd and final record. We're going to keep going and keep doing records. And, you know, I'm yeah, it'll be, I think June or July is when I got into the band of 2012. So we're going on 5 years, 3 albums. It feels great.
I heard you talking about maybe the possibility of doing a live album and how you would want to structure that. There's so many different ways you could go about doing it.
Yeah, there's, we're asked that all the time. Are you going to do a live record? And everyone in the band always says, yeah, that'd be cool, So it's not like we're like, no, we don't want to do it. But again, it's like when you're constantly touring and you're home for 4 days, where do you find time to do? So that is definitely something that we want to do. And we'll reconvene after this album is done and released, and maybe we can, start recording a certain leg of a tour, or do a specific set list just for a live recording or something like that. Somebody actually had commented and said it would be cool if they did a live album, and then after, in between songs, or maybe every few songs, do like some interview snippets, which I thought, that would, I don't know if I've ever heard that. That would be kind of cool. So
we'll volunteer for that, by the way.
Right?
Yeah, we're in. Hey, we'll do that.
You guys always treat us well, and we see you throughout the year, and it's always, we appreciate the interest and continued support. I could speak on behalf of everyone in the band. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but I would like to do a live album a lot. I would really like to do that.
Okay, last question.
Sure.
Must-have item on tour. What do you take with you wherever you go?
Oh my God. Must-have item. For me, probably like headache pills, because I suffer from bad migraines. So for me, I have like a medicine bag that's pretty hefty, because when you're out in the middle of nowhere and you have a splitting headache, or your stomach feels sick, or you ate some bad food, and so for me, probably just like medicine.
Don't leave home without it.
Nothing terribly exciting,
It's a good answer, though.
Yeah, it's true.
It's Todd La Torre of Queensrÿche.
Thanks for chatting, and appreciate it. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Picture of that one. So hard, because I'm just like,
You got like all these.
Wait, hold on, I was